This is The Real Show on Spreaker.com. It's your boy TJ The Real, and we have a special guest on the line. Now, most of you may have seen him play the role of drummer Clyde Stubblefield in the movie Get On Up, the biopic of James Brown. And also, he played Muhammad Ali in the stage play Fetch Clay Make Man. He is the founder and artistic director of Red Light Arts in Atlanta, Georgia. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Rob Demery. What's going on, Rob?
What's up with you, man?
Man, nothing much, man. Hey, first off, I just want to say thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule, man, just to be on my show, man. I appreciate that, bro.
Yeah, likewise. Thanks for having me on.
Hey, I just wanted to talk to you. First off, about acting. You're definitely good at what you do. I can vouch for that. I did a couple, plays with you back in the day when we were at Jackson State, right. And I can tell that you have a lot of passion for what you do. So the first question I want to ask you before I ask you anything is, how did you get into acting, and how did you know that this is what you wanted to pursue?
Well, my mom used to be an actress. I was around 9 years old when I was witnessing her and had a chance to be in a church play. Mm-hmm. I forget the role that I actually played, but I think it was Peter. But once the show was done, I got a standing ovation, and I said I can get used to this. And, my mom, with her having experience, she really knew how to bring out help me embody the character and everything. So ever since then, I've been pretty much moving forward ever since I was 9. So.
Okay, so 9 years old that you started out. And you also played basketball as well, correct?
Right, yeah. I played basketball all the way up until college.
Okay, then.
And I know you and I met at Jackson State.
Yeah.
I actually went to Jackson State to play basketball and,
right.
Realized that everyone can't make it to the NBA. So I said to myself, I'm like, okay, if I'm going to be the sixth man coming off the bench at Jackson State and not Duke, I may want to reroute this navigation system of my career. So
right.
I went to the tryouts knowing that I was there to be on the team, but leaving a rehearsal actually and trying to think of the name of that play. But I played Lim. It was, it'll come back to me. But, I ended up leaving the basketball stadium and going over back to the theater. And the director knew what time it was when I walked in. I told him I wanted to totally commit to the theater, and ever since then, that's what I've been doing.
Yeah. Of course, you're talking about the Mad Drama Performing Troupe. So tell me, Rob, what impression did Mad Drama at Jackson State University leave on your life?
Well, the whole college experience made me who I am today, and I'm very grateful for the opportunity making it to Jackson State, not knowing a single soul, and being introduced to Mark G. Henderson, who's the chair of the department. People knowing I wanted to act, they said, this is the man you need to get with, and ever since, my life has been on a whole different path. He's still my mentor till today. He's the founder and artistic director of Mad Drama, which you stated, which is an acronym for making a difference doing respectable and meaningful art. So from the beginning of my college matriculation, everything, opened up from doing great art from the beginning because of the motto. You're taught to not just get on stage and just perform. You want to do things that's educational, entertaining, but educational at the same time.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it really helped mold me into the actor, and most importantly, the man that I am today.
Yeah, absolutely. I can vouch for that also. Dr. Mark G. Henderson, he touches a lot of lives at Jackson State University. And I can also remember being a 19-year-old back in 2005, a sophomore at Jackson State University. And you really took me under your wing, man. You really taught me how to have a stage presence. And, I never probably properly said this to you, but I appreciate all the little things that you taught me about being on stage. I remember when we did a play called Ceremonies and Dark Old Men. You really kind of helped me because I was a character that really didn't have those many lines. But you kind of just showed me, how to always stay busy on stage and like how to always have that presence. So I just want to say thank you, and I appreciate everything that you've done to try to help me during that transition process. Appreciate that, man. Thanks a lot. This is The Real Show on Spreaker.com. Your boy TJ The Real alongside Rob Demery. We're talking about our time at Jackson State University. So, Rob, you graduated from Jackson State University, and now it's time for you to go out here into the world to practice your craft. Tell me, after you graduated from Jackson State University, what did you do after that?
Well, continue to train, which is something that's very important to every career that you go in, So I got out, went to the St. Louis Black Repertory Theater, which is the first and largest black theater company in the world. Had a great internship with them. I also went out to Klein Theater up north in Minnesota and worked with them on a tour for about 3 months. I've been directing and casting for a company out of Louisiana called Public Awareness Theater Company. Throughout all of this, even started my own company, Red Light Performing Arts Company, which is more so known as Red Light Arts. We traveled now all together to about 42 states performing for youth and different schools and youth organizations. So it's pretty much been my life.
Yeah, absolutely. And like I was saying before, like you leave and you get all this different training and you meet all different people and you go to all these different states. With the stops that you made, what can you say that you learned being out there that you probably weren't prepared for, at Jackson State? So let's just say, for example, a young college kid, he takes up theater arts and he graduates. Was there anything that you learned after you graduated that you probably can give to a young thespian that is probably listening to this show right now?
Yeah, Jackson State, no college can teach you the willpower of being in the business. Mm-hmm. You have to really want what it is you want, and I think when you're in school, it's a little easier to say it because, you're probably getting a refund check or, money isn't as important as it is when you graduate and now you have a wife and kids or whatever it may be. It's like life just gets a little more serious. So it's like if you're going to really go into this thing, you want to make sure that you understand the business side of it. And the business side of it is something that you really, and I'm not saying even from a textual standpoint, it's something that you have to go out there and experience. So, you can't be afraid to jump and make and get a couple bruises and things of that nature. If you're really, really into it, you have to really, really understand the business because it can get very tricky. Everyone's trying to save the next dollar. Yeah. And some theater companies, you can work for a full year and you may not make nothing but $11,000 total that whole year. Right. So, you can't really support yourself with that. So you have to understand what works with you, for you, and with you, what avenues to go down. And that's how you pretty much form your career. So it can definitely be a full-time job. All right.
Absolutely, man. And now we talk about, the stage plays and we talk about the grind and the passion that you have to have for the business. You go from, performing on stage and now you just, transition to the silver screen. So I said at the beginning of the intro that you worked and get on up with Chadwick Boseman. Of course, played the role of James Brown. You played Clyde Stubblefield. So how did you get a role in Get On Up? How did that come about?
Well, I was, of course, my agency, they had submitted me for the role, and it was for the role of Pee Wee at first that Tariq Trotter ended up playing. Because they liked that audition, they wanted me to read for Clyde Stubblefield because they found out that I played the drums, or I used to play the drums. Yeah,
that was a shock to me. I didn't know that. When I see the movie, I was like, wow, that shocked me.
Right. And believe it or not, I had a lot of rust. I had to pull out that WD-40 to get that rust off. Because they had been over 10 years since I had played the drums. But like anything else, if you train hard, it'll come back. So back to the audition process, it was up to 1,000 people I know going for that one role.
Wow.
And I was on tour on the East Coast, so I had to leave tour. I think I had to audition about 4 to 5 times. So you have to think about the callbacks and having to travel to, I think we were in Natchez, Mississippi, doing the auditions. And, turned out, I ended up getting the role. So
yeah, that's great.
That was one out of 100 long trips that you actually landed. Pretty tough industry.
Yeah, no, like I said, Get On Up, it was a really popular movie. A lot of people, it was highly anticipated, and I was just really excited to see you, and I seen like a few more of my fellow alum of Jackson State. They were, they had cameos in the movie as well, so that was really exciting. But working alongside Chadwick Boseman, tell me, did you develop a relationship with him? How often did you interact with him during that movie?
Well, every day I was there, we had conversations with each other, especially on days that we were shooting, because one scene could take the entire day. But what you saw, like each song that we performed in the movie, you have to understand we have about 3 to 4 rehearsals just to get prepared for that. So that's a lot of time you get to mingle with all of the castmates. But yeah, it was great working with them. It was good to see someone have a work ethic just as strong as my own,
right?
Because it's rare, and when you see someone play the role of James Brown, when you see him on the screen, it's like, man, he's really getting those moves, but you don't see the consistency of it.
Right.
And that's what I was more impressed with, is how every time he hit the stage, he was always in character, dancing around for hours.
Right.
So it was great. We're still cool to this day. It's not like I'll just call him up out of the blue or anything. But we done spoke via text a couple times, and like I told him, if he ever comes through Atlanta, I'm always here. So same thing if I go to LA. Pretty good.
It's good. It's good to have those connections, man. It's definitely good to have that. I gotta ask you. Chadwick Boseman, you got people like Michael B. Jordan, you got people like Idris Elba. These are credible African American actors, and of course we know about the movie, Straight Outta Compton. And you know about this whole Oscar fiasco that they have going on. How do you feel about the lack of African American representation when it comes to the Oscars? Like, what do you think about that?
Well, see, first you have to understand that I think that people who, I'm not going to say people, I'll speak for myself. When I went into this industry, it was never about medals and plaques and, wooden awards and recognition and things of that nature. I jumped into this industry because I love it.
Right.
It's a thrill that I get when I hit the stage in front of a 1,000-seat auditorium, or you're on the big screen, like a couple of movies that I've been in, and you got over 50,000 people plus who's out watching it, and like, to me, honestly, that's what it's all about. I'm not really all into the Academy Awards and things like that. I'm just more so into letting my art reach youth. Me being from Michigan, things of that nature, where poverty is very, very high, and most people don't make it out. I'm just trying to be a role model for youth and people to, who needs role models. Even if you don't feel like you do, I want people to look at me and say, hey, if Rob can do it, I can do it.
Right.
As long as I'm fulfilling that purpose in life, I can care less to walk across the stage to be recognized, because I really, really don't need all of that.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's not to minimize what African Americans, what we may feel about not being, included like we should. Whatever people want to do. I know they have Black Girls Rock and all of these other different organizations throwing things out to recognize us. I think that's the way to do it.